Hello students, welcome back to my channel. Today we will see the remaining topics of inheritance. Those are inheritance and access control, multiple inheritance revisited, multi-level inheritance and nesting of classes. So let us start with inheritance and access control. So here it describes about single inheritance and multiple inheritance. The inheritance hierarchy in which each derived class has only one immediate base class is known as single inheritance. This means that there is only one superclass, then it is known as single inheritance. And when a derived class has multiple base classes is known as multiple inheritance. So here more than one base class are present, or we can say a superclass is present, more than one superclasses are present, then it is known as multiple inheritance. When a class inherits some member from another class, there must be a way to control the access of inheritance. So while using an inheritance, there must be a control or access control over some members. So let us see that. First one is access control on publicly derived class. A class is publicly derived when a keyword public precedes the base class name in the class definition. So as given over here, we have to write the class as the keyword, then write the derived class name, give a colon, then we have to write public as again a keyword to make it publicly accessed, and then write the base class name. Here two different base class name I have used. So this is how we can give the publicly accessed control of the base class to the derived class. The keyword public specifies that the object of derived class are available to access public member of the base class, as if they are the public member of their own class. With the public derivation, the protected member of the base class also becomes the protected member of the derived class, and hence are directly available to the member function and friends of the derived class. The private member of the base class, however, can be accessed indirectly using public or protected member function of the base class, since they are access privilege for the private member of the base class. So this is how each section of the base class can be accessed to the derived class. Now let us see how it privately derives the member. So instead of writing public, we will write private over here. Let us see the definition. A class is privately derived when a class has a keyword private precedes the base class name in the class definition. So here, as you can see in the syntax, a class name is written, then a derived class name is given, colon is given, and instead of public we have written private and the base class name. The keyword private specifies that the public and protected member of the base class are directly accessible by the member function and friends of the derived class, as if they are the private member of the derived class. The public and protected member of the base class comes private member of the derived class in the private derivation. The object of the derived class cannot access them directly. So now let us look for the some facts about inheritance. The first one is the private member of the base class are visible in the derived class, but they are not directly accessible. This means that the private member of the base class are seen in the derived class, but they cannot be used. The second one is we cannot deny to certain member of base class when inheriting publicly. This says that when we publicly inherit the base class into the derived class, all the member function and the data member of the base class is been accessible to the derived class. If we do not want some functions to be used, then too it will be accessible in the derived class. We can selectively allow access to some of the base class members when deriving privately. So it says that when we privately inherit the base class into the derived class, it allows us the selective data member or member function of the base class to be inherit into the derived class. And the last one is abstract class. A class that serves only as a base class from which other classes are derived, but no object of this base class type exists, is known as abstract class. It says that the class which has been created as a base class but cannot create an object of its own, this type of classes are known as abstract class. Now let us see the making of private member inherit. In inheritance, the derived class inherits the public and protected member of the base class. That is, only public and protected member of the base class becomes the member of derived class. The private member of the base class are not inherited. So in the previous video we had seen that only the protected and the public member of the base class are being inherited into the derived class. The private data member or the member functions cannot be inherited to the next class or the derived class. So, if we need to inherit the private member of the base class, then there are two ways to accomplish it. First way is by making the access specifier of the private member as public. And the second one is by making the access specifier of the private member as protected. So we have to convert all the member function or the data member of the private section into public or protected, and then it can be used in the derived class. Now let us look to the shadowing or overriding base class function in the derived class. So it says that when a derived class function has the same name as that if its base class member function, that is redefining the derived class, the derived class member function shadows or hides the base class inherited function, and this situation is known as function overriding. Definition would be more clear with the help of the example given over here. I have created a class named A which is having a member function f1 with no arguments, and the statement that is to be printed is base. Now the another class which is B is inheriting the class A that is also having the member function with the same name f1 and no argument in it, which will print the statement derive. So when I'll print the output, it will show me the answer derived. Why? Because it is overriding the base class function with the derived class. So here the member function of the base class, which is this f1, would be hidden with the member function of the derived class, which is the another f1, because we have inherited the A into B. That's why the answer would be, we will get is derived. So the answer we will get is just the derived. Now the next topic is multiple inheritance revisited. Multiple inheritance means deriving a class from more than one base class. With multiple inheritance, the new class inherits all the protected and public member of all the base classes. Multiple inheritance allows the derived class to combine the strength of the other classes. Now here in the syntax, as we can see, there are two classes named X and Y. This you can consider as a base class, and it has been derived into the derived class, that is Z, with the help of colon, and it is publicly derived. So all the protected and public member of X and Y would be inherited into the class Z. That is or this type of inheritance is called multiple inheritance. One class will contain more than one class inheritance is called an multiple inheritance. The next here image, as we can see, so here x and y, we have had two class which is been inheriting into the class z. So only the private member function or the data member would not be inherited, rest all the things would be inherited into the class z. This is when we inherit with the help of private. So this is how it will work. The next topic is constructor in multiple inheritance. The constructors plays an important role in initializing object. One important thing to note here is that as long as no base class constructor takes any argument, the derived class need not have a constructor function. So it says that the derived class will not have a constructor if the base class has no argument in the constructor. However, if a base class contains a constructor with one or more arguments, then it is mandatory for the derived class to have a constructor and pass the argument to the base class constructor. This is because constructors can't be inherited, though a derived class can explicitly call the constructors and destructors of the base class. The next topic is multi-level inheritance. The derived class itself acts as a base class for another class. Such a situation is called a multi-level inheritance. The chain of classes forming multi-level inheritance is known as inheritance hierarchy or inheritance path. The multi-level inheritance implements the transitive nature of real-life object. There can be any number of classes in inheritance hierarchy. So in the previous video we had learned about multi-level inheritance, where we had seen that there can be multiple levels of the classes. Means one base class is derived into the derived class, and that derived class becomes again the base class for the third derived class. So if we have A, B, C as a class, A will become a base class for the B derived class, then B will become the base class for the C derived class. So this is how it is called an multi-level inheritance. The next topic is nesting of classes. A class derived certain properties of another class through inheritance. There are some other ways also in C++ that lets one class include properties of another class. One class may have another class defined within it is known as nested class. So here in this, as we can see, we have created two different class X and Y, and their objects have been created in class Y. So here we have done the nesting of classes, that the object of X and Y is been created in class Z. Or the object of Z class type will contain object objx and objy of class X and Y type respectively. This type of relation is known as containership or nesting. It is also referred to as containment or composition or aggregation. You can also say that Z has a relation with class X and Y type objects. When a class contains object of other class type as its member, it is referred to as containership or containment or aggregation. The constructor of a member object of a class is invoked implicitly, and the constructor of a base class is invoked explicitly. This is calling of explicit constructor, where we have just directly called with the class name, and this is how we will call implicit constructor with the help of object name. So we have created the subject class object in the student. STUD is for the student, there I have created an object, and that is been called over here in the education class. So this is how you can call the explicit and implicit constructor. The last topic is relation between classes. When a class inherits from other class, the derived class has a relationship with its base class. In a class containing object of other class type, then containing or enclosed class has a relation with contained or enclosed class. The similar relation between two classes is holds a relation. It is similar to has a relation, but ownership is missing in holds a. So this topic says that what is a relation between the base class and the derived class? It is a, has a, or holds a relation between both the class. So it is described with the help of the relation between the classes. So now here we end our chapter number 6 over here, which is inheritance. The program for each of the topic you will find in the Google. So please do search for it. Do watch all my previous videos. Like this video, share it with your friends, and please do comment if needed. Also, do not forget to subscribe my channel for more updates. Thank you.